When I arrived in Philadelphia as the business manager of the 76ers in early September of 1968, there were 4 full-time employees in the league office in New York.
How many today?
They could have had a meeting in the phone booth, and today they're pushing up towards 1,000.
Oh, wow.
All around the world. They've got satellite headquarters on just about every continent in the world. It's become a huge worldwide enterprise. Just
it's big
enormous.
business.
Big business, and getting bigger all the time. And international players, there would be an example. I mean, the thought 34 years ago of having a player from China as the first pick in the draft or one of the high picks in the draft, South America, all across Europe, to have 10, 12, 14 foreign players drafted in the first 2 rounds, unheard of.
Yeah, we never would have thought of that.
Never. Walter Kennedy was the commissioner then, the former mayor of Stamford, Connecticut. And Walter, I think, would occasionally drop a little line, you know, that it's going to be a worldwide sport someday, but who could have envisioned that, or who would have believed that? So in many ways, Diane, it has changed. And above all, just the athleticism, the size, the enormity of these players. I mean, I look back to my early years, there's no comparison, for example, just of the strength, the agility, the quickness. It's just remarkable group of young athletes that are coming along from all over the world.
Is part of that change a result of players engaging in weight training and having nutrition specialists and all the things that once they didn't have the opportunity to do?
And teaching, instructing. Listen, I remember, Diane, when I was a freshman at Wake Forest, there was a professor there named Gene Hooks, Dr. Gene Hooks, and he had just written his doctoral dissertation on weight training in athletics. It was very, very controversial. This was the fall of '58. I mean, it was almost like heresy,
Yeah.
what he was writing about. It ultimately became a book, and Gene Hooks was just, I mean, so far out there. You know, there was the whole theory of lifting will make you muscle-bound and lifting this, that, and the other.
Ruin your touch and your game completely.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I mean, it literally, that was, what, 44 years ago? You don't do this. When Gene Hooks argued, yes, you do. Well, that was way, way long ago. But now, every team has a round-the-clock, around-the-year weight training program. Everybody has a strength and conditioning coach, an assistant strength and conditioning coach. I mean, it's staggering. Now we're building our own facilities. We used to have to go and hang out and maybe get the gym at a college, you know, to train at or to practice.
Or the local Y.
Local Y. I remember in Chicago in the early 70s when I was there, our players would go work out at the Lawson Street YMCA in downtown with a guy named Dick White who would work them out. I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
And let alone having facilities. No, I mean, so just these areas, Diane. How about airplane travel? Listen, the new players don't have any idea what travel used to be like. I mean, once a week, almost every team in the league would meet each other going through O'Hare in Chicago. You know, with those 5 o'clock wake-up calls to get a 7:30 flight, to get into the next city, change planes in Atlanta or Chicago. That's how we traveled. Not today.
No.
So it's staggering for me.
As a spectator, it seems to me that the game in the past 20 years has really changed from a team-oriented game to almost an individual accomplishment game. Am I wrong about that?
Well, there's a lot of that, Diane. I think one of the reasons for that is just the media attention. You know, in my early years, this was kind of a cult sport. You know, the NBA had kind of a limited following who were into it. It was like wrestling fans. You were basketball fans, but it was a very small cult-like gathering. But no longer. We're all over the place. And I think the players, the young players, see all this. They see the glamour. They see the glitz that goes with it. You know, they see this from the time they're small kids. And there's a tendency to, and basketball lends itself, you know, to individual skills, putting on a show. That is the challenge, therefore, Diane, of every coach, to convince these young guys that this is the team game, the ultimate team game, and that you've got to, as Bob Cousy used to say you've got to share the sugar, you know, you've got to get everybody involved. And that's where great coaching comes in,
Sure.
to try and battle this sociological phenomenon of I'm in it for me, to get involved and make it the ultimate team game that basketball is.
Is that what Phil Jackson did with Michael Jordan? Did he somehow convince him to become more of a team player, and thus, accordingly, they won championships?
I think that was Phil's greatest strength. I recently wrote a book about Michael Jordan, Diane. I did over 1,500 interviews in researching the book, motivational book called How to Be Like Mike. One of the chapters I wrote about was this whole area of teamwork. And I think it was pretty clear in Michael's early years, and granted, he did not have much around him and had to carry the whole load. But as the Bulls got better, Pippen and Grant, they got better players. But Phil Jackson arrived in the fall of '90 as the head coach and sold Michael that he was going to have to get the other guys more involved, that he was going to have to sacrifice some of his own individual stuff to get them involved. And that was the only way they were going to win.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.